Hi, I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado, and welcome to another one of my photography talks. Today I'm going to talk about a book, or a few books. This is by Dan Weiner, and I'd never heard of him, and this is a first in a 6-title series featuring different photographers put out by the ICP and International Center for Photography. And I thought, I don't know what that is, but there was this incredibly good bookstore. If anybody's near New Jersey, Lambertville, New Jersey, a town I used to live in, so I frequent it when I go back to visit. There's a store called Panoply's bookstore, and it's a store that has a lot of used books, but they have an incredible photography section. I almost call it a photography bookstore. They have one whole section which has first editions. He had The Americans by Robert Frank in a first edition. He had Sally Mann's first editions. He had so many great books, as well as plenty of non-first editions that were quite affordable. And I loved a lot of those books, but this one was only, I don't see a price, I forget what I paid for it. I think I paid under $10 for this. And it's why I picked it up from him, because it's thin enough I knew I could get it home in my suitcase. And I didn't have that much extra room in my suitcase to buy any of the big Avedon books, but I wanted to buy something from him. And I also bought an old black and white photography magazine featuring Eve Arnold on the Eve Arnold on the cover. I photographed Marilyn Monroe, I believe, and I thought that's kind of like a fun thing for me to get, because again, it's thin, it'll fit in my case, and it's not terribly expensive because it's not a book, it's just a magazine. This is a little bit of a treat for me to bring back these two from my travels, small enough to read on the plane and not much money invested. And then out at the flea market I talked about, there was this, the Images You, and it's a series of different photographers. They dedicate the book to Martin Luther King, and it's a series of photographers, and they're all on African Americans in, it looks like the 40s through the 60s. And it's an interesting book. It was only $2. And at $2, how do you not buy it, you know? And it's, again, one of those things to round out my library here. And because it was inexpensive and it's small, it'll fit in my case. That's a big deal when I'm traveling, is I don't have extra room. I don't usually check any bags. I just take my carry-ons, and I take a shoulder bag for cameras and one carry-on, and it's a pretty small one because they keep making those planes smaller and the compartments smaller, and I can't afford to check a bag because usually there's computers and cameras in the bag too, and I don't want to put those under the plane and have them get beat up and broken. So I end up traveling pretty light, but I have very limited amount of space to travel with. But if you're near New Jersey and Panoply Books, take a look. I think the owner's name was Roland, and really nice guy, and you can see he's got a passion for what he does. And to have so many first editions of those photographer books, and to have, you know, a whole wall full of photography books and a front window with more photography books. He said that so many people leave, and as they're leaving, they'll realize, oh, there's even more that they didn't see. They have one by Bruce Davidson right in the front window. So again, I'm really enamored by books about other photographers. I think we all learn from each other all the time, and it's inspiring to have. I always keep a book open on my main counter when people come into the studio, and it's always open to a different photograph, a different photographer, and it's my way of just kind of keeping up on what else is being made, what else has been made, and how did they work, and I get inspired by that. So anyway, that's my talk on photography books. There's so many out there, and there's so many great ones. If you have any favorites, put them in the comments below, and thanks so much for watching. If you have any friends who might be interested in this channel, send them the link. And we'll talk again tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching.